Hello, lovely people. Happy Friday. Friday. We made it to the end of the week. Isn't that sweet? I'm coming to you from Orchard Park, New York, home of the Buffalo Bills, for a special project soon to come. We start today with an update on inflation, which is actually lower now than it was a year ago. So, what does that mean? Well, prices across all goods and services have not gone down, but the pace of price increases has slowed. The latest Consumer Price Index, or CPI report, is an indicator for a price of a weighted average of consumer goods and services purchases by households. The report showed prices have been falling with appliance, health insurance, and used cars. But Americans are still feeling pain with the bills, especially when it comes to groceries, car insurance, and even daycare and preschool prices. So, with the latest reports, are we now trending out of our inflation woes? Our Matt Egan has more. The inflation fire hasn't been put out, which does increasingly look contained. Consumer prices jumping by 4.9% year over year in April. That is the smallest increase in exactly 2 years. There have now been 10 consecutive months of cooling price gains. Unfortunately, though, the price rate improvement has slowed. It's basically leveled out, even though it's currently at a level that is more than twice what the Fed is targeting. Now, on a month-over-month basis, inflation actually heated up between March and April, though a lot of that was driven by a spike in used car prices, and that spike is not expected to last. I'm digging to a report. There were definitely some positives here. A record price drop on an annual basis for major appliances, and for health insurance on an annual basis. Used car prices are actually down. Grocery prices are still going up rapidly, but even that has cooled off. On the other hand, car insurance is up more than 15% over the last years. So if you put it all together, inflation is clearly moving in the right direction. But the pace of progress has slowed, and it's still too early to declare victory on inflation. 10-second trivia. Which of these Canadian provinces is located along the Pacific coast? Quebec, Ontario, British Columbia, or Alberta? Alberta. The westernmost province of Canada is British Columbia, defined by its mountain regions and Pacific coastline. Let's head to British Columbia to the Great Bear Rainforest, where the indigenous First Nation community has taken steps to protect the land, marine, and wildlife, which includes an extraordinary sighting of white bear or spirit bear. These protections have impacted the ecosystem and the community's livelihoods in just a few short years. Our Bill Ware give us a tour from that stunning region. Bill Ware. Behold the Great Bear Rainforest. Stretching for 250 miles of beautiful solitude along the coast of British Columbia, as part of the largest intact coastal temperate rainforest in the world. It is a wilderness the size of Ireland and home to one of the most extraordinary creatures on our planet. The spirit bear is something that's really unique. When you get a pure white bear coming out of a dark green forest, it just looks really magical. And so we want to protect that. Spirit bears are actually a subspecies of black bear that, due to double recessive gene, aren't black at all. But this rare species is just one piece of vital wilderness. The Great Bear Rainforest is extremely special. I think it's probably one of the most biodiverse places on the planet. You still get wild things like bears and wolves and abundance of salmon and a bunch of different sea life. You still have old growth forests, and so we want to keep it like that. In the heart of this remote expanse is a town of Clemtu, home to a community of a Kitasu-sized First Nation, who have lived and thrived in this region for thousands of years. The river is right close to a community. We get 3 species of salmon that come up this river, and this is their spawning ground. According to a recent report published by Kitazo Sciences, this rich ecosystem suffered from 100 years of unsustainable extraction, fish, wildlife, and forest from outside interest. So right now, we are just getting ready to enter Kitazo Bay, and that's the area, probably the most important area. In June of 2022, they announced the creation of a marine protected area to preserve the herring stocks that are so vital to both wildlife and the community. Kitazo Bay was declared by military chiefs. It was supported by a community, and it was launched so the rest of the world knows about it. We're engaged provincial governments, federal governments. We're engaged stakeholders. Letting everyone know that it's close. We have left a document open to collaborating. But the push to reverse the centuries' worth of degradation actually started more than 2 decades ago. In 2000, they released their own land and resource protection and management plans aimed at building an economy based on conservation and non-extractive activities like ecotourism. I think indigenous knowledge is super important, and I think it needs to be integrated. Whether it's wildlife management, fisheries management, ocean management, I think right now we're in a new era of collaboration. We're in this area of reconciliation. And how do we work together? How do indigenous people and non-indigenous people work together? Neighboring First Nations first came together in 2012 to issue a ban on trophy hunting of bears. And 5 years later, thanks to indigenous-led research and analysis, the British Columbian government banned the hunting of grizzly bears across the entire province. That was huge, but we knew we weren't quite finished yet. In July of 2022, just a month after the marine protected area was announced, the government agreed to put a stop to black bear hunting as well. And First Nation leaders said they had not managed to protect half of their territory. We've been working with different levels of government, different levels of stakeholders. It's been a lot of negotiation, a lot of debates, a lot of science, a lot of collaboration. And I would say, 2022 is probably the first high end that we are able to see some significant progress on some of these files. We have a belief that if you take care of the land will take care of you. And so that's ingrained in all our work here. It doesn't matter if it's in stewardship, if it's in tourism, if it's in economic development. We want to make sure that we are looking at long-term sustainable industries. And we want to make sure that we have a place at the work and enjoy. Alright, for all you video games lovers out there, check this video out. As the US Navy is actually training sea lions to play video games. Is today's story getting a 10 out of 10. Meet Spike, one of 3 sea lions learning cognitive enrichment training for US Navy Marine Mammal Program. This avid gamer became the first SEAL to complete this training, as he uses his snout to press a button and maneuver a cursor to a maze. His eyes track the cursor with laser-like focus. The US Navy employs more than 120 mammals in this program, all which are trained in reconnaissance and recovery tasks. Alright, it's time to seal the deal on this awesome week. We need to make sure that you wishes all your mothers out there happy Mother's Day this week. And if you haven't written a card or gotten a gift yet, don't forget. Our special shout out is going to East Middle School in Butte, Montana. Rise up as we you out with some visuals from stories we learned together this past week. Remember, shine bright this weekend. Wherever you go, you are more powerful than you know. I'm Coy Wire. This is CNN10. It's been a blessing to spend this week with you.